Welcome to our special segment where we are going to discuss about the origins of the International Tea Day. Today, we are honored to have here with us Mr. Periyasamy Muthulingam, the Executive Director of the Institute of Social Development here with us. So, welcome to our discussion. We were told that before the United Nations declared the International Tea Day on the 21st of May, the civil societies and the small growers associations had been celebrating the International Tea Day on the 15th of December. Could you please explain us the background and the history of this celebration?
Yes, this is a long history because you all know that in 2001 in Brazil, a trade union leader called Lula da Silva, he became president of Brazil. Under him only, there is a big campaign under the name of World Social Forum. The slogan of the World Social Forum is "Another world is possible." So, they have conducted a social forum in Brazil. At that time, most of the trade unions and the civil society globally, they got together and they also campaigned for a justice world where everyone can enjoy the rights. In that context only, in 2003, the Indian civil societies and the trade unions, they also initiated to hold the Asian Social Forum with the intention to hold the World Social Forum in 2004. So, in 2003, they had a preparation meeting in Madras, Chennai, inviting all the trade unions and the civil society of India. So, at that time, one of my close comrade and friend, Mrs. Ruth Manorama, she is one of the social activists, worked on the the Dalit women in Bangalore, and also his husband, he worked for the Pakirisamy, he worked for the unorganized sector workers, mainly the construction worker, and they invited me to take part in the preparation meeting which will be held in Chennai in 2003. So, I went to Chennai, and when I went there are organized trade union, they have a separate meeting, and also the agriculture workers union, they have a separate meeting, as well as the unorganized sector workers, they also are having a separate meeting to how to take part and how to organize the Asian Social Forum, which will be held in Hyderabad. So, I just went and told Ruth Manana, I came and they said, okay, you are coming under the organized sector workers, so you go and participate in the trade union meeting. Then I went to the trade union meeting where all the industrial trade unionists as well as the the private sector trade unions, they got together, they initiated to discuss about the workers issue. Then I raised the issue of that you have to include the plantation workers issues, which there are nearly 2 million workers are involving in the industry, covering nearly at that time 26 countries. And they respond to me saying that you are coming under the agriculture sector because the plantation workers are, they are producing tea. So, therefore, it is not coming under our purview. So, you should go and discuss with the agriculture workers union, which is they are having that meeting in the next room. Then I went to the next room, then I told I am coming from Sri Lanka, then I want to discuss, raise the workers issues of the plantation workers, even India also having the tea plantation workers. What they said was, no, you all are getting monthly salary, so therefore you all cannot come under the agriculture workers union, because we are more focusing on the day laborers who are not having a permanent salary, and that means the monthly salary. Then what has happened was, then I came out from that also. Then I told Ruth Manorama, they are chasing out me from the organized sector trade union conference as well as the agriculture workers. Then he said, do you come and participate? Our one, it is an unorganized sector. We are focusing on the domestic workers as well as the construction workers. Then I went and air my issues, and also they said, okay, you come commemorate, then we can have it in the Hyderabad Asian Social Forum. We can give opportunity you to talk on that meeting. Then at the end of the year, must be I think in August, then they have a meeting in Hyderabad. Then I went there, and the organized sector trade unions and the agriculture sector trade union, they have a big conference highlighting their issues. Then in a pathetic way, I went under the unorganized sector trade union conference, where they gave a room for me to air the issues of the tea plantation workers of Sri Lanka. At that time, there is another person, he represents the Center for Education and Communication, which based in Delhi, and also he is the one of the person who done a study in Sri Lanka for his PhD. It's called, now we used to call Dr. Satadru. Then he also addressed that meeting, highlighting the issues of Assam tea garden. So I addressed the issues of the Sri Lankan tea garden, tea workers issues, and he raised the issue of the Assam tea plantation. So when he came out after that conference, I had a chat with Dr. Satadru, at that time is a PhD student. Then I told Satadru, see this, there are nearly 2 million people, and beyond that there are people who are involving in the tea trade globally, and the auctioneers, and there are so many value added factories and all that. So there is no platform to discuss and air their issues in the global platform. Therefore, we should have a separate meeting and inviting all these people in the World Social Forum, which will be held in 2004 in Bombay. Then I said, okay, I will tell my boss at the time, the CEC, head of the CEC, J. John. He said, I will link with our director, they can discuss with him and we can have that. Then after that meeting, I came back to Sri Lanka. Then I had a correspondence with Satadru, and Satadru linked with the CEC executive director, J. John. Then I discussed it. He also focusing on the workers' issues at that time. He said, okay, we can, where should we create the fund? Then I said, don't worry, I will approach my donor. At that time, the main donor for us is Christian Aid, which that organization which is based in here in London. So then he said, okay, if you raise the fund, then we can organize that. Then I raised the fund from Christian Aid, and they also said, okay, we will give the fund. Then I asked them to transfer the fund to CEC. At that time, CEC is also linked with the what is that called, Christian Aid. Then what has happened was, we organized at that time, we planned to have a 2-day preliminary conference to identify the workers' issues of the plantation sector. Then we include the small growers' issues also. What has happened was, we send the money, we provide the tickets for even to invite the trade union representatives and civil society representatives from Kenya, Malaysia and Sri Lanka, also Malawi also we invited, and we had a 2-day conference in Lonavala before the World Social Forum. In Lonavala, we discussed the issues. At that time, I am the person who raised, because we needed a day, special day for us, like a May Day, to have these highlight the issues of the plantation workers. They also agreed at that time, all the trade unions, including the trade unions from Calcutta and from Darjeeling, Assam and Kerala and Tamil Nadu, and who are working with the tea plantation workers union, and Sri Lanka also. We went with at that veteran trade union leader who passed away, Ramaya, and also from our organization, Yogeshwari, Miss Yogeshwari, and several other workers also, plantation workers. We took them, we had a discussion. When I proposed that we should have a day, then says it's a good idea. At that time, Satadru also with us. Then he said, okay, they gave the responsibility to identify the day which can be declared at the next International Tea Day, and before that we can declare in the World Social Forum in Bombay, we can we will declare a day for the International Tea Day for the plantation workers. Then task was given to me and the Dr. Satadru, and at that time then Satadru Vattasaman, he joined another organization. The total task fallen on me. Then what I thought was, then I went through the history of the plantation, in the tea plantation, and I found that the British East India Company, they are the people want to produce tea, to capture the tea market at that time, 1839. They brought some indentured labor from China, because they identify the trees, the tea garden, we are saying tea bushes, but it is generally it is a tree. So they identify the tree in Assam tea garden, and they are not in a position to how to produce the tea. They don't know the technique. So what they thought was, they bring indentured labor from China to Calcutta. From Calcutta they have taken to Assam. Then I think 1839 or 38, I can't sure that. At that time they took the indentured labor. The indentured labor, they produced the tea, but at that time they didn't give the promised salary to them. So what has happened was, they the Chinese laborers, they surrounded the British person who in the Assam garden. They surrounded, they garo it, and they demand the salary. So that was took place in month of December. Then I thought, the month of, it's continued for several weeks. Then I thought, taking the consideration of the other trade union, the International Tea Days, then I said it could be December 15. So what has happened was, after identifying that, in the 2005 we had a World Social Forum in Porto Alegre in Brazil. Then in the Porto Alegre we had a discussion with inviting the trade unions from the tea producing countries and civil society. Then I proposed the day and giving the history of that. This is the history took place where the strike was taken. It's not a strike, it's a garo by the Chinese laborers demanding the salary. So salary is the biggest issues now. So why can't you go for a December 15? Then everybody agreed, and it was proposed by the late comrade O.A. Ramaya, and also from Sri Lanka, another trade union leader, Ashok Ghosh, is a social. Then in the World Social Forum in the month of January, which was in Porto Alegre, we declared the International Tea Days December 15. The first tea day was observed, International Tea Day was observed in New Delhi in 2005, December 15. So from Sri Lanka, most of the trade union, I took all the trade union, even the LJW trade union, Mr. Mohiddin, and from Red Flag Union, Comrade Ramaya and Mr. Murugaya, and several other civil society, even other civil society organization members, we have taken to New Delhi, and we observed the first International Tea Day.
Being said, sir, seemingly there had been a very long history with regard to the celebration of International Tea Day. Sir, could you please tell me when was the very first celebration was held as the Tea Day on the 15th of December?
The first celebration was held in 2005 in New Delhi in December 15th. In that first International Tea Day, the countries from Kenya, Malawi, and Sri Lanka and India, and also Malaysia also participated in that meeting. There is a first International Tea Day was held in 2005. The second Tea Day, International Tea Day, was observed in 2006 in Sri Lanka, in Kandy. We invite all the trade unions representing Kenya, Malawi, Vietnam, and India, Malaysia. All these people were participated in Sri Lanka in the 2006 second International Tea. Following that, all these tea producing countries, they observe the International Tea Day in the month of December 15th.
That being said, sir, so can I know how did and how this day shifted to 21st of May as the UN declared International Tea Days?
After 2005, the second International Tea Day was held in Sri Lanka. It was sponsored by Institute of Social Development. In that meeting, also the representatives from Kenya, Vietnam, and Indonesia, and Malawi were participated, and we had a 2-day conference in Kandy, and following that we had a big demonstration in Hatton, because the three demand at the time: the living wage for the plantation workers, and also decent work environment for the plantation workers, and also the land right for the plantation workers, among the other demands. So, based on the demand only, we continue this, observe the tea plantation workers issues under the name of International Tea Day. So, that at the same time, the small growers and also we and all the other civil society, they appealed the United Nations to declare an International Tea Day by accepting our International Tea Day. What has happened was, after the request of the tea small growers of India and also civil societies, the International Tea Day was declared by the United Nations in 2019. At that time the COVID is spread all over the world, but in 2019 the United Nations, they had a small tea party and declared International Tea Days on May 21st. So, that is how from 2019 the International Tea Day was observed all over the world, naming as a May 21st. That is the way how it was shifted from December 15 to May 21st. In general, if you took generally the civil society or a trade union, they are the people who observe any international day. For example, even International Women's Day was observed by the women's civil society and at that time the trade unions. Then later it was accepted by the United Nations. And sometimes there are international days observed by the civil society and appeal to the UN. UN can change the date and they can declare. So, that is how the International Tea Day, which was observed by the civil society and the trade union in 2015, it was shifted to May 21st from 2019 onwards.
So, it's remarkable to see that your initiative have taken to the global level and declaring an international day by the UN itself. And can I know what Institute of Social Development had been doing since the start of this International Tea Day on the 21st of May?
So, in the 2019, when it was declared by the UN, the May 21st is the International Tea Day. What we did was, ISD, immediately we sent a message through the WhatsApp and the social media. It was declared because we want to enlighten the other civil society and the trade union. It was shifted, and at the same year 2019, some civil society organization, they also want to observe that tea day. That is why we initially what we did was we propagated, saying, because it was very small event held by the United Nations. So, after 2020 what we did was we sent a message to everyone, writing articles and all that, so to observe the tea day on the 21st rather than 15. Then finally what has happened was, at that time the COVID is over. In 2022 only the COVID everywhere it is declining, and we thought in 2023, especially in Sri Lanka, the tea plantation workers migration history comes to 200 years. So, what we thought as ISD at that time, so apart from raising the issues of the workers of Sri Lanka, and why can't it coincide with the International Tea Day? So, what we did was, apart from observing the 200 years of history, citing their flight of the plantation workers, how they were excluded from the mainstream, and highlighting that we thought to declare a declaration on the May 21st of 23. So, that is how in 2023 we had a 3-day event in Norelia. That event we had a exhibition highlighting how the migration was took place into Sri Lanka and how they contributed for this country and how they excluded from the mainstream. And what we did was, after having the 3 days event, and we declared by inviting the plantation politician and the trade unions and also the national politician, because some national politician including the president and the opposition leader and all the party members were invited, but they didn't come, citing various. But the president of Sri Lanka at that time, Ranil Wickremesinghe, and the opposition leader Sajith Premadasa, everybody they send their messages, including the party leaders, even including the ambassadors of the countries. They also send their messages, and we declared a number of issues, including the living wage and also decent environment, working environment, and their land rights as well as their housing right, apart from to upgrade their education, health and other system which enjoyed by the other citizen, not the way. The equal rights we emphasize, and the equal distribution and the equal status which should be enjoyed, because since the inception of the tea and the coffee period up to now, the workers are the people who are contributing the foreign income to the countries. So, that is why we initiated this campaign.
I heard from print media and also from social media that you have launched another campaign called Inclusive Malayam in the 2024, demanding and reaffirming your demands. Could you please explain what this campaign is about?
Yes, in the 2024, we observed this International Tea Day in the district of Ratnapura under the theme of Inclusive Malayam, because the inclusive means that in the 2023 we declared and we demand the government to include these people, the plantation workers, to enjoy the right as a citizens of this country. Even though they become a citizens of this country, still they are excluded from the mainstream, and there are the minimum rights which enjoyed by the Sri Lankan community was not given that opportunity for the plantation workers. That is why we use the theme for this year, the Inclusive Malayam. Then we can continue this Inclusive Malayam theme, and under the theme we can demand all the rights which are not enjoyed by the community. For example, if you take the health sector of plantation settlement area, because the government time to time they declared to include the health sector into the mainstream of health service of the Sri Lanka. But what has happened was, still the people are not in a position to enjoy the total health services which are provided by the government. If you take the education, because if the education, we have good education system in Sri Lanka, but in every district where the predominantly the community lives other than plantation community, that is the Malayam Tamil community, the Tamils, Muslims and the Sinhalese, where you can see a good what is it called, the central college, the Madhyama Vidyalaya, where if you look at the plantation district, where the plantation workers are living and their community children are living, there is no good central college or a Mahavidyalaya. So, that is the exclusion we are seeing in the plantation. Similarly, the living wage, now the government also announced the workers should be paid 1,700 rupees. The worker, but at the same time the companies are rejecting that demand and they are declining to pay that. But we did another study focusing on the living wage, but according to the study done by the Institute of Social Development, hiring a professor called Vijay Chandran from the economics department of Sri Lanka. He is the head of the department before that. So, according to this study outcome, the workers should be paid for a day 2,321 rupees. So, this is a continuously, the salary discrimination is continuing historically. So, like this, and all, you look at their cultural development. We have the cultural ministry and we have cultural officer. So, still there is no any person or any allocation is given to protect and preserve their cultural heritage. So, similarly, if you look at all the sectors, services are not reaching the community. So, that is why we put that theme inclusive Malayagam. We can continue this theme until we obtain all the rights and the access to development equally similar to other citizens of this country.
Let us look at some of the highlights from Inclusive Malayagam 2024, which was held in Ratnapura.
ජාත්‍යන්තර තේ දිනයට සමගාමීව මෙරට තේවගාකරුවන් එක් වූ සැමරුම් උත්සවයක් රත්නපුර නගර ශාලාවේදී පැවැත්වුණා. අනතුරුව ඔවුන් සිය වගාවන් ආශ්‍රිතව පවත්නා ගැටලු කිහිපයක් මුල් කරගනිමින් නවනගර ශාලාව වටා උද්ඝෝෂණයකද නිරත වුණා.
වතුකරේ දෙමළ ජනතාව උඩරට දෙමළ ලෙස පිළිගන්නේයි ඉල්ලයි. රත්නපුර නගරයට එක් රැස් වූ 100 ගණනක් වූ වතුකරේ දෙමළ ජනතාව ඊයේ ජාත්‍යන්තර තේ දිනය සමරමින් තමන් මලේග තමිල හෙවත් உடரட்ட දෙමළ ලෙස පිළිගන්නයි இல்லா සිටියා.
சர்வதேச தேயிலை தினம் என்று அனுஷ்டிக்கப்படுவதை முன்னிட்டு கண்டி சமூக அபிவிருத்தி நிறுவனம் ஒன்றின் ஏற்பாட்டில் ரத்தினபுரி நகரில் பேரணி நடைபெற்றது. பெருந்தோட்ட மக்களுக்கு காணியுரிமை, வீட்டுரிமை, சம்பளம் அதிகரிப்பு உள்ளிட்ட விடயங்களை முன்னிறுத்தி இந்த பேரணி இடம்பெற்றது. கண்டி, மாத்தலை, நுவரெலியா, ராகலை, நாவலப்பட்டி, மஸ்கெலியா உள்ளிட்ட பகுதி மக்கள் இந்த பேரணியில் கலந்து கொண்டனர். பேரணியை தொடர்ந்து கூட்டம் ஒன்றுக்கும் ஏற்பாடு செய்யப்பட்டிருந்தது.
So, I wish and congratulate the Institute of Social Development, and also I would like to thank for the participation of Mr. Periyasamy Muthulingam, the Executive Director of Institute of Social Development, for his contribution and coming for this discussion. And we are looking forward to have equal rights and stand for the plantation communities in Sri Lanka. Stay tuned for more updates and let's support this continuous campaign. Thank you.